certified jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
All right, welcome back, eSIMstudios YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have everybody back, talk a little technology, see what's going on in the tech world. I just got done recording my S26 Ultra Rinky Onyx case. Literally just uploaded it right now. So as soon as this live stream is over, I'm gonna publish the review of this Rinky Onyx case for the S26 Ultra. It's one of my go-to cases, honestly. Look, when I do case reviews, I love accessories, cases, and stuff like that. Buy a lot, but I try and like find stuff that I dislike about it because I don't want to sound like on every single video that you know, this, and you know, there's no downsides to this case. This is one of those cases, honestly, that really doesn't have a downside. I've been using Rinky and Onyx. Y'all know, okay, so they sent it to me for free, right? And it's weird too because I get a lot of stuff offered to me, a ton of stuff. And I normally don't take a lot because, for one thing, product, you know, might not fit, you know, channel, or sometimes you get caught in that YouTube reviewer conundrum where they give it to you for free, so they want you to say good things about it, right? But you know, it's like, but some YouTubers get caught in that and they get carried away with it where, oh, Samsung giving you the S26 Ultra to review, you know, you don't want to just shit on it the whole time. I'm pretty sure that's why Apple's never sent me anything, because I would probably do negative sales for Apple. I would have people returning their iPhone after my review. But, you know, whatever. I like Rinky. They're actually a really good company. There's a handful of cases. Even before this YouTube channel, I would always have a Rinky case in the collection, always have a Thinborn case in the collection, always have a Spigen case in the collection, always have a Nilken case in the collection. So those like 4. I know I'm missing one, but, and then, you know, a couple of cases from each company. So I love their stuff. So, you know, I'm going to publish it after this is done. I'll shut up. Let's get on. So, man, we have an interesting news today. Good news, bad news, all in between, right? That we're going to get to. I already see some people in the comments talking about that. But I hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good Monday. Tried to get on a little earlier, but my day is filled with trade-ins. And y'all know I did the trade-in video yesterday. How to protect yourself from being docked money or the whole trade-in value altogether, right? That happened to me in the past. Well, tried to happen, but CYA, cover your own ass. And if you want to know those secrets, you can go check out the video I uploaded yesterday in regards to trading in. So we got a bunch of phones here, and I had spent did 1 or 2 yesterday boxing, and I did a couple today, and I had to go drop them off and do some other things. But I do appreciate the time. Let's get into, hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see here. Dar. Yes, Dar to you too. Let's see. I hope OPPO comes to the USA if OnePlus no longer exists here. Will OPPO replace OnePlus? I just got immersed in the OnePlus ecosystem from Apple this year. I got the OnePlus Buds 3, 13R, and OnePlus Pad 3 within the last 6 months. That's pretty dope. Those are all good devices, right? We'll get to that in just a second. Looks like OPPO OnePlus ecosystem is not bad. I'm going to try them in the next week. I think you will make a good decision. I think you are not going to regret that. I hope OPPO at least replacing them in the USA market. I just got... Okay, yeah, I think I just read that. So, yeah, we will get into it. So, yes, thank you for the comment, and thank you for spoiling the news. No, I'm just kidding. I was literally getting into it right now, so we'll include this in the intro. Yes, good news, as I mentioned. Little good news today, little bad news today. So take it for what you will. You know, some will see it as good news, some will see it as but I'll leave that up to you. Let's get into it. So let me share the screen here. We got word. For one, I am very excited. I think I was just saying last week that it's a real shame. So I was looking at my analytics last week. I have a lot of users. I have a lot of viewers that are not in the States. I have viewers all over the world: India, Pakistan, Central Southeast Asia, Vietnam, the Philippines. I have some people in Lithuania, all over the place, South America, all over the world. And I was just letting a lot of y'all know that are not in the States. Look, wherever you live, you have pros and cons, right? But one of the things that sucks about living here in the United States is phone selection. Like, yeah, I can go out and get a OPPO phone on eBay, which is essentially what we have to do here in the States, but that doesn't come with you don't really feel good about purchasing the device because warranty. What happens if your screen cracks? What if you need warranty replacement? What if 4 or 5 years down the road, or if you're within your warranty time, a speaker doesn't really work as well as it should? Who are you going to send it into, right? Purchasing devices from manufacturers or I guess a carrier would qualify is where it's at, and we just don't have a big selection here. We got the Samsung, Apple, Pixel, OnePlus, which we'll get to here shortly. But OPPO announced today that they are opening up sales. OPPO announced that they're opening up their flagship models. I believe we got word. We'll get into the article, but we at least know it's their flagship devices are going to be open to global markets, including the United States. Oh, yes, this is awesome. I'm very excited. In fact, I can't wait. I'm definitely getting one of these. Now, we're going to go over what models, the difference between them, and then get into the bad news, right? So, if you don't know, OPPO owns the parent, I guess, what is it? BBK is the parent company of OPPO, but OnePlus is like the little brother of OPPO. But OPPO typically has stayed out of the United States market. I think how they're going to do it is open up their website for sales, kind of like how OnePlus has opened for the US market, or now nothing has opened up. Well, at least the 4A Pro is. By the way, they haven't even shipped my phone yet. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I've been sitting here twiddling my fingers, my thumbs for a week or 10 days, and the phone hadn't even shipped yet. I'm like, I see people in other parts of the world, other parts of the United States getting their phone, and mine hasn't even shipped yet. So whatever, another day, another story. OPPO, it's all about OPPO today. So let me pull up this story right here. It's a great day. It look, not just for the United States. There's some people in where else? The UK, other countries are gonna be able to purchase this too. If you've not used an OPPO phone, I've never used an OPPO phone. It looks pretty similar to OnePlus 15 because it's essentially the same design language. I think they use not all of the same parts. It's kind of like a Toyota and a Lexus, right? A Lexus is technically a Toyota. You can get them serviced at you can service a Lexus at a Toyota dealership and vice versa. But the Lexus is more refined, right? That's what you're going to find here with OPPO and OnePlus. Now, OPPO is in the Lexus category, in my opinion. OnePlus, not necessarily a Toyota, right? But you get the idea. I think BBK, they're the parent company of both, have sort of put the emphasis on OPPO from here on out. And you can expect the very best camera experience on any mobile device in the world on these phones. So OPPO announced the brand new Find X9 Ultra, and they hit us with a surprise. It will be launched globally alongside two other devices. So they are also going to release the OPPO Find X9 Pro and OPPO Find X9. So it's kind of like the Find X9 is kind of like the S26, right? As far as where it competes with or how they rank them. You have the S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra. Well, you get the OPPO Find X9, X9 Pro, and X9 Ultra, right? So this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. There are some differences that you're going to want to look out for, right? There just is. There are some differences, and we will jump into it. Hey, how's it going? Yes, I know. It looks fantastic. The red is a red or orange, whatever. Button on the side, little camera button. Apparently, it's going to be it's sort of like an iPhone captive button where it's like a button, but it's not, where it's like pressure sensitive for photos. Now, where's my iPhone? I don't even know where my iPhone is. I have an iPhone. I don't ever use the button. I'll try to use it on this one, but we'll see, right? Let me see. Do I have a picture of that? I know it's on my thumbnail, but here we go. OPPO Find X9. Now, this also, you OnePlus users out there, Hasselblad is still in partnership with OPPO, and that's kind of how the Hasselblad partnership with OnePlus came about back in the day, is from the OPPO partnership. They sort of said, why don't we, pair Hasselblad cameras with the OnePlus, and it's kind of foreshadowing stuff, which we will get into later. But let's jump back. That is very cool. I love that. Let's get back into this, and we'll get into specs and when it is going to be released. I am definitely going to be grabbing one of these. So it seems the global markets will expect a surprise debut. The Ultra model phone from the Chinese OEM OPPO. Let's see. They say he said, Pete Lau, the CPO, Chief Product Officer of OPPO, Pete Lau, posted on X that the latter will debut an Ultra edition to the Find X9 series globally. It's going global. Wow, that gets right to the point. Lau provided a quick teaser image of the device. Now, let's see, color-wise, other than that, we know the phone will be silver, or at least this colorway option. The image offers a tagline, your next camera. Moreover, it tells us that the phone will debut in April 2026. So this is coming up soon. We're going to see this device this time next month. Wow. Like, that's fantastic. If you're not familiar with OPPO, and again, I've never owned one, but I've always paid attention from afar, these things are spec'd out. So we'll get into I keep on referencing this. We'll get into the bad news here in a second, but this is fantastic news. This article does not say, does it say? I was noticing on another article that obviously this article here by Android Central is letting us know that the OPPO Find X9 Ultra is going to be released globally, but I also got word that the Pro and the regular Find X9 was going to be launched globally. They were going to launch the whole Find X9 series globally. So if I see anything different moving into the future, tomorrow, next week, I'll certainly let you know. But as of right now, and maybe you can help me in the comments too, as of right now, it looks like all three are coming to the US, which is good news. Now, I don't think we're going to see a ban. Maybe I'm wrong, but they've already set in place sales for the United States market. They have a specific website just for the US. Just like if you get on Nothing's website, if you go to nothing.tech, it'll take you directly to the UK website, and it'll ask you, do you want to log in? Before he goes to the website, it'll pull up a page saying, do you want to go to the US website? You hit yes, it'll take you to a US website. So if OPPO plans on selling these in the United States via their website, they already have to have a a United States website already put in place. Got to get ready for sales, make sure everything works. So if a ban does happen, it would have to come after the sale, or after the sales have started. You see what I'm saying? I hope that's not the case. A couple of Chinese companies have been banned before, more specifically Huawei, but I think that was in a very specific case. Now, if OnePlus has not been banned in the United States, I don't expect OPPO to be banned, quite honestly. If OnePlus can still operate and business as usual in the US, I think OPPO should be fine, right? It's under the same parent company. They have the same representatives. They have the same people communicating with the U.S. market. They know what the FCC qualifications are for selling phones in the U.S. market. So I think right now we'll be fine. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on that. And you are watching from Portugal. I told y'all we have a lot of viewers around the world. I really appreciate it. Let's see. True that US is dominated by Apple and Samsung mainly. Very true. And who's third? Apple, Samsung. I'm not sure. Apple, Samsung. I would say Google, but not that many people have Pixels. It's probably Motorola, honestly, because of all the real budget phones. And Motorola's in AT&T, all the carriers here. Push. All the carriers, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they give away these cheap Motorola phones free all day long. So it's probably, well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I know Google's slightly moving up in market share, but we'll see. Now, let's get into the specs because yes, these things are spec'd out, and these things bring the very best camera performance you can find on a smartphone. I've heard from people directly I have talked to, and I've watched a few videos. I've talked to some people that say these cameras are insane. Like, it's essentially a DSLR digital camera experience, which is music to my ears because I've kind of given up on the whole camera thing, right? Like with the OnePlus 15, everybody's saying the cameras were shitty, and then I get the phone, I'm like, damn, these are actually pretty good. But is it like the best I've ever seen? No. And that's okay. The Samsung S26 Ultra cameras, I'm hearing, they're much improved. There's 30% more light here, 30% more light there. I get the phone in, I go take some pictures, I even put a video out. I can't tell the difference between the two, quite honestly. Pixel is generally up there, but their gap of being just the absolute best camera phone, I'm talking about here in America. I know Oppo's always been on top of the list, but again, in America, can't really get a hold. I mean, you can, but you know what I mean. Direct sales, it's not official. Pixel, their gap has been closing on the very best camera phones throughout the last couple of years, but they haven't brought anything to the table lately. Like, if you take a picture with a Google Pixel 10 Pro XL and you compare it next to a picture from a Google Pixel 8 Pro, it's the same thing, right? It's good. It's really good, but nothing's changed. So in iPhone, I don't like iPhone pictures, videos. They have this like orange tint to their photos. I can't put my finger on it. Sometimes I think I'm the one that's going crazy because I notice it all the time. And I've asked some other people and they're like, orange tint? No, I don't see an orange tint. And I'm like, really? I'm like, look, my face looks orange on this iPhone. I'm like, it looks fine to me. It looks like an iPhone camera. I'm like, these people are crazy. So I haven't really been wowed. I think this is the first time in a long time that we are going to be blown away in picture quality. I absolutely love a point and shoot camera. It's been a while since I've been wowed by a phone. I've been impressed, right? Like the OnePlus 15 impressed me because of the expectations. You expect it to be real shitty, but when you get it, it's pretty good, right? But it's been a while since I've been blown away by camera performance. And I think the last time I was blown away was obviously with a Pixel, and I think it was with the Pixel 7 Pro. Yeah, I know. Now it seems like, Pixel 7. But 3-4 years ago, it was the best camera phone you could buy, right? So it's been a while, and I think this is going to wow us. It's going to be specced out. You can see here on the screen, it's going to have a big 6.8 inch LTPO 2.0 AMOLED display, 144 hertz refresh rate. Now, the difference between the Ultra and the Pro and the regular is going to be CPU. So the Find X9 has, the base model has a MediaTek Dimensity 9500. The Find X9 Pro has a MediaTek Dimensity 9500. However, this new Ultra that they're touting, that they're putting on display today, is going to have the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is fantastic. I'll say all of them, the two CPUs I mentioned, you cannot go wrong with either one. So when these do become available next month, don't grab the Ultra just because it has a Snapdragon. The MediaTek Dimensity CPUs are freaking awesome. They are fantastic. They are right up there with the Snapdragon CPUs. I mean, I've been dying to get my hands on one, and this is my perfect opportunity. But here's the dilemma. Should I get the X9 Pro or should I get the Ultra? I really wanted to get my hands on a Dimensity 9500. This is a perfect chance. So whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you're going to see top of the line battery life. As you can see, this Ultra's got a 7,000 milliampere hour battery, 100 watt wired charging. Screen's going to be badass. Battery life's going to be badass. Camera's going to be badass. Dare I say, I've never said this before, dare I say, this may be the perfect cell phone. Whoa. I'm just saying. You know how I always say, if you're new to the channel, I always say there's no perfect smartphone, right? Every phone has a downside to it, whether it's battery life or the cameras or, oh, it doesn't do this or it doesn't do that. This might look like the perfect phone. I'm talking about size, strength, battery life. Cameras are top notch. CPU's top notch. It's gonna have tons of RAM. It's gonna have fast charging. It's gonna last 2 days. 144 hertz refresh rate. Like, I see why everybody's excited. Honestly, this thing looks nice. Let's see here. You hope OPPO can get in the carrier stores and take it to Samsung. I do too. However, that'll never happen. Well, never say never, but in my opinion, I don't think that'll ever happen. I mean, look, maybe 10, 15 years from now, sure. But anytime in the near, I hope I'm wrong, but Samsung and Apple would throw a fit if, and I hate that it's this way, but it's just a fact. This is just how it operates behind the scenes. Apple and Samsung would throw a fit, and honestly, they might even like pull something out of their ass and tell AT&T or T-Mobile, well, we're gonna void our contract with you and pull all of our phones out of your stores. It would probably be that drastic, because they know that competition, that OPPO puts out a better product than the Apple iPhone and the Samsung Galaxies, and that's just a fact. There are no shortcomings on this phone, and I think Apple and Samsung would be very worried if that happened. And it's politics behind the scenes. Again, I wish I was wrong, but I don't see it anytime soon. That lets you know that this phone is that good, right? OPPO definitely at least rivals iPhone Pro Max and Samsung Ultras. Oh yeah. I was wondering, is the Moto Signature going to be released here? You know, I think they're going to release them when the Fold is released, which should be here soon. I think they should open it up for global sales. I think. I haven't heard anything since, but the last thing I heard about a month ago was that the Moto Signature Fold would be available for the US market. Now, I don't know if the Signature, the regular, the non-foldable is going to tag along and both be available, or if the Fold will just be available. but I think it will be. I just haven't got any confirmation on that. Oppo cameras are insane, but Vivo collaboration with Zeiss is much better. Really? So BBK decided to let the same hardware like last year on the new Vivo Ultra and upgrade the Oppo Ultra. Interesting. Yeah, see, I don't have a lot of knowledge on Oppo, or decent, not that much. I know the basics, but especially Vivo, because I don't think any Vivo phone has been available for the US market. I just don't know like the models. Like I don't know what their flagship is called. I don't know, you know. It's just kind of, it's been on the other side of the world. It's kind of been out of my mind. Never considered buying one. Never looked into it. Never looked at the models. Never looked at the specs. Never watched a review. Never watched a review of a Vivo phone. I probably need to, but it's just never been in consideration of mine. So I'm like, but I think I'm gonna look into this after the stream. So I appreciate you passing that information on. The more information that y'all can give me, the better when it comes to Vivo. I know Flossie Carter. I know I think he's carrying around a Vivo phone right now for review. If you follow him on Instagram, he always goes out to eat with his daughter on Friday nights and like posts the pictures. You gotta look around the environment with Flossie and his cameras, and with his phones on his Friday night dinner with his daughter, because he'll always have the next phone he's reviewing. Might not even be released yet, but it's always on the table, And I saw his picture the other day, and I was like, damn, I think that's a Vivo phone. It had the circular back with those 4 sensors in it. I don't know. Again, I don't know Vivo, but it's a good follow. Go follow Flossie Carter on Instagram. No perfect, but close. Missing it. How could I forget anti-reflective? That is so key. And MagSafe, yes, perfect example, right? No phone is perfect. So again, maybe it's not perfect then. If the OPPO Find X9 Ultra does not have the anti-reflective display and or MagSafe magnets in there, I guess you're right. I stand corrected. Thank you. Question: buy Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra or wait for the Pixel 11 Pro XL? Funny you ask that. Didn't you ask a question, was it last live stream, that I was literally just thinking about before I started last live? Well, guess what? Ironic, because I was just thinking this before this this live stream, because we're going through this same dilemma in my household right now. Keep the S26 Ultra we got, or wait for the Pixel 11 Pro XL. So here's a couple things that we know, and then we'll get into the OnePlus news here in just a second. So what do we know about the Pixel 11 Pro XL? Well, it's essentially going to be a refresh of what we have right now. I mean, I think Thinborn leaked the photos of the case to the Pixel 11 Pro XL. Now, the only thing design-wise that might look a little different, and it may be hard to tell, is that camera bar on the back, the camera island. You know how right now they stick out pretty good from the back panel of the device. I think they're going to shrink it just a tiny bit. Not a lot, but just a tiny bit, because it sticks out pretty far right now, which I like, because you can use it to rest your finger up against, when you're holding it. That may be a little shorter, a little closer to the panel, and that's it. Now, it's going to have the Tensor G6 CPU. It's going to have 16 gigs of RAM, same memory, same display, same everything. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with GPU. I heard they were potentially moving to a Samsung GPU and get rid of this Immortals GPU, because it has not done Google any favors in the performance department. Any favors. Like, if there's one thing I could change about Pixels right now, is to swap out that GPU. So I don't know if they're going to go in that direction. They could be making that decision right now as we speak. That would help in the performance department, as I mentioned. But it's going to have the Tensor G6. And look, I think at this point, we're done with hoping and praying and getting excited that this year's the year that they're going to catch up performance wise to Snapdragon and to Apple on their CPUs, I think those days are long gone. Like, I think we know what to expect now. It's been 5 years and we get the same story every year. So why expect anything different this time around, right? So, but again, does that affect the performance for your everyday user? No, right? If you're not a gamer, if you don't edit 4K videos, you should be fine with a Pixel, right? But if you game and if you do are a content creator, you could be like me, take pictures, videos with it, but edit the content on another device. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the S26 Ultra, which is a refresh, a little design change. Very powerful processor. You got the privacy display, but who uses that? Let's be honest. The only time I've turned mine on is when I first got it, and I knew that was going to happen, right? But everybody's different. If you take the subway every day, if you fly a lot, you're probably going to use it. If you're like me, work from home, you're never going to use it. That's a good question. It depends on you, the user. I can't tell you. If it was me personally, I'm going to take the Samsung. But I could use a Pixel 10 Pro XL, 11 Pro XL as my daily driver. I could. It's a very nice phone. Certainly not shitting on them at all. But just performance-wise, for what I use my phone for, I need a strong CPU. So that's why I would lean towards the Samsung. But I think the Pixel would be fine. Again, comes down to you and what you use your phone for, right? If you take a lot of pictures and stuff, you don't really, you're a light gamer, but you don't edit videos, you're not a content creator, you should be fine with the Pixel, right? And it also comes down to what other devices do you have? Do you have a watch? Do you have a Samsung watch? Do you have a Pixel watch? Do you have a Samsung tablet, right? Or, that comes into the decision too with the whole ecosystem thing, because you can still use your Pixel with a Samsung tablet or with the Samsung watch, but typically when you have everything Samsung, like one of our viewers has everything OnePlus, stuff just works a tiny bit better together. It syncs up a little better together, right? So I don't know. I personally would take Samsung, but that's just me. Vivo Ultra is also going global March 30th. Yeah, I think it is. I don't have. Do I have Instagram on my computer? I was gonna say we could look it up. Yeah, I do. Hang on. Let's see. Let's find out. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. All right, and then we're gonna get into OnePlus. Let me turn the volume off. Is the volume off? All right, here we go. Let me remove this. Let me move this. Sorry, I got like a bunch of monitors in here, so I'm always going like this, moving stuff around. Okay, so let's find out. Let's find out what phone he got. Okay. So here's the Instagram, Mr. Carter. Let's see which phone, okay, so this is the latest. Was it this one or the last one? So I know he's got on he's flossing with all the jewelry, but I'm looking at the phones. Let's see. That one down there on the bottom right. Can I pause this? It's hard to see because it's black. The black back on the phone, but you could tell. Let me play it a little more. And it may be hard to see it from where y'all are at. That center looks like it's more on the top left. Oh, that was an old phone. What am I doing? These are pinned. It was this one. That's his latest one. So look at that phone down there. Let me make it bigger. Look at that phone down there on the bottom left. Here, I'm going to take me off so y'all can see. Right? No, that can't be it, is it? I don't know. Damn it. I keep on messing up the arrows. Whatever. Yeah, follow him. He's always got he's always got a phone collection whenever he goes out to eat, but probably Vivo. I'm sure he's gonna have one of them. All right, the Vivo or the what is the Vivo called? Vivo Ultra. Let's see here. Vivo Ultra. Interesting. Huh. All right, let's pull up. Let's get into OnePlus because where are we at? 38 minutes. Yeah, let's get into OnePlus here. All right. You've been buying OnePlus since the 9 Pro and bought all of them since rocking the 13 at the moment. That's a classic phone right there. Just wasn't digging the 15. Plus, OnePlus was really lowballing trade-ins on the 13. Yeah, I've been disappointed with trade-in values. I guess Samsung came through at the very end. Only if you had the Ultra, right? But OnePlus was the same thing. I had a couple trade-in devices here, and I got on OnePlus's website, and I was like, really? $400 for this phone? I could sell it on Swappa or Facebook Marketplace for like $800. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hate it when they do that. But the 13 is a great phone. You can have that for years to come, and it's really good. I think Pixel should be priced in the upper mid-range area due to their CPU and GPU, their options with better specs for the same price. I agree. You know, it's unfortunate that I don't think we're going to see a price adjustment, but I agree with you. Like the Pixel 10 Pro XL starts at $1,000, or no, yeah, but don't they do 128 still? Anyways, I think you get a 256 Pro XL for $1,100, right around the same. I mean, $100 cheaper than the S26 Ultra. I mean, it's a nice device, but just that huge performance gap. You have a good point. You know, I think I agree. I just checked. It's the Oh, damn! It's the Xiaomi 7. Another phone I've never used. Oh, I take that back. I have had a Xiaomi. Do y'all remember when Google One was around? It's got to be like 10 years ago. I had it was a Xiaomi phone with the stock Android on it, like with the Pixel operating system. Pretty freaking cool. So I did have a Xiaomi phone, but it's been 7 years. I think it was like the Mi 1 or Mi 2 with the Google One operating system. That was nice, man. I used to like that phone. So, but since then, never had one. I wish they would come to the market. That would be awesome. Or like Realme. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't get a lot of different options here in the States. And it sucks for nerds like myself that love all this stuff. And again, I can buy one on eBay, but you know, it's better to buy it from the manufacturer or from a carrier, right? So you can have official purchase, the receipt, the warranty, all that stuff. It looks like a Vivo. Some of those do look similar. Yeah. And again, I'm just not super familiar with Vivo, OPPO, Xiaomi, Realme, any of those, but I guess we'll have to be, at least OPPO. Now, let's get into the OnePlus news. Give me just a second here. So, what are we gonna do with OnePlus? So, as of right now, everybody I'm sure is familiar with the news that came out. I think it was probably about 2 months now. That news, there were that article by Android Headlines stating that OnePlus is dismantling, and it'll be one of those days for us tech nerds. I'll remember that day for the rest of my life. I was sitting at the dinner table, finishing up my meal, and what do I see coming across my screen? OnePlus is dismantling. Say, what? I click on it and I'm reading and reading and reading. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, does anybody else have this news? And this is when it probably was out, maybe by 30 minutes, something like that. I didn't see any official articles or anything, just that Android Headlines article. I was like, what the hell is going on? You know, my world is crashing down on me. But I went online, got on social media. There were a few people talking about it, but boy, oh boy, the very next day, there was a bunch of video. I made a couple of videos about it, and it was shocking, right? Especially for OnePlus lovers like myself. I think I started purchasing OnePlus. I think my very first OnePlus phone was what was it? The 5T? Because didn't they skip 4? They went from 3 to 5, and then 5T, and then they had 6T, and then I've had all those, the 7T or 7 Pro with little pop-up cameras. So I've had them all. I've had them all. In fact, I've purchased, well, the same model multiple times. I would sell it because I'm getting another phone, and then a couple of months later down the road, I'm like, damn, I really missed that OnePlus 7 Pro. Let me see if there's any good deals on them. Boom, and I'll get it again. I've done that on multiple OnePlus phones, and I can't say that about many other phones that I've owned in the past. I can think of 3 OnePlus phones specifically I've purchased more than one time. The current OnePlus 15, I've purchased that twice. The OnePlus 13, I had 3 of them. The OnePlus 7 Pro, and then I think the OnePlus 8, I've had 2 of them. I got one 8T. I've had a bunch, and that's how you know they're fun to use. It's a good phone. If I'm coming back, if I sell it because I need to buy another phone, because look, I don't get a lot of phones sent to me, so I'm buying all these. You know it's a good phone when I'm like, damn, I really missed that phone. Really good experience. Let me get it again. It's a good sign, right? So it looks like the OnePlus is dying news is unfortunately not going away. Now, when I put out that video a month or 2 ago, was it a hit piece article, meaning like, were they trying to build some sort of story, some sort of narrative on OnePlus? It looked like it. However, I did a bunch of research for that story specifically, meaning look at all the details, go behind the scenes. I spent a good hour and a half pulling details, pulling articles, pulling stats, as much as I could off the internet. And I think the conclusion that I came to was, are they dying? Technically, no. But it did not look good at that time, a month or 2 ago, as far as, look, what's facts are facts. And the facts is they closed down their United States office. It was just down the road in Dallas, or down the highway up in Dallas. And they've laid off all U.S. employees. The sales are way down, right? And they also, I believe they did that in the UK too, where they closed the office, laid off employees. It sucks, right? I love the brand, and we got worse news today. So let me pull this article up, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So 9 to 5 Google has a good article, and just to let you know, everything you're seeing now on the screen, I linked down below in the video description. So if you want to check out the news or the information, or you want to get some little more details on what we talk about, I linked everything down below for you. But here's another article that states the OPPO news that they're going to release this new Ultra series here worldwide. But the second half of the article discusses the OnePlus dying rumors and or shutting down. And this time we got word from officials from OnePlus, from somebody inside the company, and they said, yeah, we're getting to that point. So after the announcement of the X9 Ultra, getting down to the second half of the article, we can see here that OnePlus appears to be exiting a global market, a global launch, a global release strategy. So there's a leaker, and I've known of him, I just haven't seen his name in a while, Yogesh Bar, who is the article says here, is a pretty a solid track record. And I've heard of and we're seeing his, I think I'm following him, know his social media here for a few years, and whatever he puts out generally becomes true, meaning he's got a pretty good record of whatever he says. Of course, it's not 100%, but typically if he puts it out, that'll happen, right? So he posted on social media earlier today that OnePlus is indeed shutting down in select global markets. Now, when you see that in quotations, shutting down in select global markets, look, what does that mean, right? How many markets are going to remain? How many devices are they going to release in the next year, or if any? Well, we got word that the markets they are not going to sell phones in anymore, meaning like if you're in the United States, how it has been for OPPO, for example. You can get one if you really, really want one, but you're going to have to get it on eBay. You cannot buy it from the company on their website, in a store, nothing like that. It's sort of like they're going to turn into like what OPPO has been. So it's official. OnePlus is not going to sell phones anymore in the United States, in the UK, or in Europe. So OnePlus would apparently continue selling phones only in China and in India, but the OnePlus phones they sell in India are only going to be budget and mid-range phones, which means if you want the latest and greatest OnePlus, 16, it's only going to be available in China. And what sucks even more, it's probably going to have color OS. And what sucks even more is that the 5G and 4G bands probably not going to work too well here in the US, meaning, look, we could live with if they were just going to sell them the OnePlus 16, for example, in China, right? Let's just say that they're shutting down US sales, UK sales, Europe sales, and they're everywhere else minus India and China, but India is only selling the budget and mid-range phones. Well, I don't want a budget and or a mid-range OnePlus. I want the real deal. Give me the good stuff, right? Well, it wouldn't be so bad, because you can go to, what is it called, Gizmo China, or some of these online retailers, eBay, and just get you a OnePlus 16, which, again, wouldn't be so bad because you get it in. Maybe there would be a Oxygen OS we could flash on there, and deal with it, right? But that's not going to be the case, because even if you go to one of these online retailers and purchase the OnePlus 16, there is no Oxygen OS. There is not going to be any Oxygen OS. It's just going to be Color OS, and that's because Oxygen OS was kept alive because they sold OnePlus in America. And among other places, but in America we have Oxygen OS. Well, why would they make an Oxygen OS for the OnePlus 16 if they didn't sell it in any other markets? See what I'm saying? So there will be no Oxygen OS to flash, right? And as cool as Color OS is, I kind of like it. There's one simple fact that there is Mandarin on the phone, meaning there's Chinese on the phone, Chinese writing on the phone that you can't get rid of. You can uninstall some of it, but there's some system apps that you cannot uninstall. So, there's always compatibility issues with Android Auto, Google Wallet, stuff like that. Well, there's some workarounds. Well, the workarounds were due to the fact that they would pull forks and stuff out of the kernel from the Oxygen OS version and put that into the Color OS version, when flashing and stuff like that. But now there will be none. So you're going to be stuck with Color OS. Some people can deal with it, some people can't, right? But even if you can deal with it, it's probably not going to work here on your carrier. So that's the like death blow where it's like, well, now it's not even worth buying at all if you're in the United States, because why? Who wants to buy $1,000 phone? Well, I guess it would be about 800, but you get the point. Who wants to spend a lot of money on a phone when you're not even going to use it with your SIM card, right? Who's going to use a flagship phone on Wi-Fi only? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So yeah, so this is kind of this sucks. So it looks like that's the end. Because even if they were going to sell it wouldn't be so bad if they would continue to sell the OnePlus 16 not only in China but India as well. Because as y'all know, I've purchased a couple of phones from India. They work great here, right? It's the global ROM. The 5G works fantastic here too. No issues, right? In fact, the Motorola Signature I got was from there. It was the Indian model, so it wouldn't be so bad. But they're not. Again, they're only selling in India the budget and mid-range OnePlus devices, and the flagship, which means the flagship is only going to be sold in China. So this is kind of the death of OnePlus, unfortunately. I was still hoping I would be able to buy, because here's my plan. Even with that news that we got, I was like, damn, that sucks. And I think I sold the first one I got a little too fast. I probably scared myself and was like, let me sell it. But then I came back. I was like, damn, it's a really good experience. Love the phone. Let me buy another one. But it looks like that's going to be the last one I'm going to own. So it sucks. It honestly sucks. But I hope. And see, look, the thing with BBK, as we were talking earlier, so they own OPPO and OnePlus. I don't think, because I was thinking too, damn, I wonder if they could like revitalize, have a rejuvenation of, whatever, sales, interest. But once a parent company like BBK takes all the resources, employees, funding, R&D out of OnePlus and allocates it to OPPO, they're just going to continue at OPPO, and they're not really going to be funneling any more R&D, any more employees, any more management, any more marketing to OnePlus. It's all going to go in to fund OPPO, right? So it does look like this is the death blow that I was worried about. At the time of that original article a month or two ago, I figured it would be a kind of like a slow thing that we would eventually get to, but I didn't expect to see them announce, well, they haven't officially announced it, but somebody within the industry is letting this news out. I didn't think we would see it this soon. I thought it would take 6 months, maybe a year from now, to where we would hear, right around the OnePlus 16, we would hear them say something, but this is pretty quick. So it looks like BBK, owner of parent company OnePlus, has made their mind up that they're just going to run a skeleton crew with OnePlus, only sell devices where they have strong sales, meaning India. They're actually really big in India, and their home market in China, and that's it. Because at this point, they're losing money operating in any other country, right? They have the smart people. They hire people that all they do is look at this stuff. They see the spreadsheets. They know what markets they can survive in, what markets they got to dump, cut their losses. And unfortunately, they're going to cut the global market minus China and India. So that they're still going to release, from what I understand, the OnePlus 16. But as I mentioned earlier, it's only going to be in China. They have a new leaked model coming out This is where the interesting thing will come too, is the OnePlus 15T. It's their flagship device, the small version of their flagship device. Will that be released globally? Will that be released only in China? We don't know. In fact, let me do a little research right now or pull up some news and see if we can find anything. So the OnePlus 15T set for March 24th. But in what markets, right? That's what we're wondering. It looks like it's going to be India. Oh, that's tomorrow. What the hell? Let's see. OnePlus 15 price in India. Chinese smartphone brand OnePlus set to launch its upcoming smartphone OnePlus 15T in China on March 24th. As the launch nears, speculation around OnePlus 15T's India launch date is expected. Price gaining traction online. It looks like they're already going to move forward with the understanding of only device launches in China and India. I'm kind of surprised they're launching this in India because this is not a budget device. This is not a mid-range device. This is a flagship device. Now, maybe in the company they said, well, after this upcoming launch, the OnePlus 15T, we will only launch flagships in China and then budget and mid-range in India. It's probably what they're going to do. So this might be, ladies and gentlemen, the very last flagship device OnePlus puts out that you will essentially be able to use worldwide. Because after this OnePlus 15T, it's China only, and that's it. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not going to use a budget and or a mid-range phone. I know I make the exception for nothing because they just have a really cool mid-range phone. But other than that, I'm not using mid-range. I'm not using a mid-range phone. But this appears to be the very last. So maybe a classic. I wanted to get my hands on the 13T. Was not able to, but it looks pretty cool. Sucks that they're going under. Yeah, you know what? You're going to miss the OnePlus red charging cable. I'm a part of the red cable club too, you know. So I am too. That's what I'm charging my phone with right now. See, I got a Samsung S26 Ultra and I'm charging it with the OnePlus charger. That's called fast charging right there. Yeah, I will too. Sad to see this about OnePlus. The US market sucks for competition. Yeah. No one gives Motorola credit for how much market share they have in the US. Motorola is, thank you for mentioning that. Motorola is gaining a market share. When the Signature came out, I watched the launch of it. Now, it was in India, but they were talking at launch about, you know, somebody gets on stage and they blah, 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 blah. They were actually going over all, and they had graphics behind them. They were going over all of the market share, not just in India, worldwide, different countries. The United States was in there, and I can't remember what percentage they increased this year over previous years. But I think, from what I remember, it was, I don't know, 5 to 7% or something like that. It's growing. And I think Motorola can make a comeback because they have the hardware, they have the history, they have the name. Now they have to rejuvenate that name, right? Because they always get a lot of shit for not updating their phones, and rightfully so, right? They need to be called out. But with this Motorola Signature, if they can update their phones every month and keep it on a normal schedule and bring a flagship experience, yes, they can certainly be another player. They might, you know, if they have a good team at Motorola, their headquarters are in Chicago for the US, you know, they would see this OnePlus news and be like, you know, I wonder if we can pick up those OnePlus diehard fans here in America with a device. You know, I hope somebody thinks that over there. In fact, I'm going to clip this and at Motorola, because I think they could pick up, look, it's not going to be company life-changing turnaround numbers, right? But all they have to do is make the like they did with the signature, make the first step of making what a flagship experience should be, and they made it with the signature. Now the key is to make another one next year, and another one the year after that, and another one the year after that. Put some consistent years together of a flagship device, updated monthly, and the customers will come, right? And I'll be one of them. So they have a chance to increase their market share, especially for the United States market. I'm just glad there is at least an alternative in OPPO. Sad day for OnePlus. Yeah, a little good news, bad news, right? Good news is, and see, that's very strategic, and that would fit into play with what within OPPO's playbook, right? They know they're going to take away OnePlus from the US market, but they know there's fans out there like you and I that love these phones, and they know, OPPO knows that they'll take OnePlus away, but they're going to introduce OPPO. They know they're going to get a large percentage of those OnePlus fans, probably 90% of those OnePlus fans are going to circle around and purchase an OPPO device now. They know that, and that's why they're doing it. They're taking away OnePlus, and in comes OPPO. It's essentially, it's the same, wow, it's better than this. I was going to say it's essentially the same phone. No, it's better. Cameras are way better. So actually they're bringing a better product to the table. It's just not going to have your OnePlus logo, right? It's going to have the OPPO logo, but it looks the same, right? If you put an OPPO Find X9 Pro next to a OnePlus 15, it's the same phone. I mean, looks the same, right? So I think it just sucks for the nostalgia that us OnePlus fans have, but at least, you're right, at least they're bringing us an option. It's not just like they're taking it away and that's it. I mean, I guess they kind of are, but at least they have another product that they're saying, hey, well, here's the OPPO Find X9 Pro and X9 Ultra. And honestly, they are better. So I guess it could be worse. I guess they could be taking OnePlus away and not giving us anything at all. That would really suck. So I am getting excited for the OPPO. I guess that'll have to do, right? Yeah. Hello, Pro Alpha Gamer. Appreciate you joining us today. We have in Europe the global ColorOS version with eSIM in all Google services. Yeah, I like ColorOS, and I would like ColorOS. And the version of ColorOS I tried was the Mandarin version, like the version they have in China. And I actually, kind of liked it. So I know if I get the full English version of ColorOS, I know I'm really going to like it. So I'm excited. So we're going to definitely cover this and more. I plan on getting one, so stay tuned to the channel. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I was going to do a giveaway today, but I just looked at the time. I got to get out of here. So join me tomorrow. I'll do a giveaway tomorrow. I'll do either a case giveaway or a Cash App giveaway or an Amazon gift card giveaway. We'll do a giveaway tomorrow of some sort. Hell, I might even do 2 giveaways tomorrow. But you have to subscribe and you have to join us on the live stream. I'll try and schedule it as soon as in advance as I can tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. But I got to get out of here. But I do appreciate the time, and I hope everybody had a good afternoon. Please be safe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.